Hi and welcome to my very first Motorholic car video. Now, you may see my Aquaholic channel, that's all about boats and that's doing quite well, and I thought why not indulge my other passion, which is cars. And I thought where's the best place to start, and probably it's with my own car, which is this. A Mercedes-Benz SLK280 Sport. Now this is quite an old girl. This one is over 10 years old. It's a 2009 car. I've had it for 8 years. It's the longest I've ever kept a car, and I absolutely love it, which of course is why I've kept it so long. So that begs two questions really, doesn't it? Why an SLK, and why this SLK? Well, the reason for the SLK is it's a convertible, but it's got the solid roof, and that is something I particularly like because it means I don't worry when I park at places. Also, it's very refined with the roof up, so if you're doing long journeys you can almost forget you're in a convertible. It's like a proper coupe. I also happen to think it is a great looking car. I'm going to say this one is over 10 years old and this design dates back to 2004, but it still looks great. So that's the why. But then why this particular car? Well, this one I saw advertised and I pretty much bought it over the phone. I put a deposit down on it and went up a couple of weeks later to buy it, because it was as though somebody had walked into a Mercedes dealership and said, I'd like to buy a car for Nick, I'm going to run it for 3 years and I'm going to sell it to him for half price. This car originally cost £45,000. I paid 20 for it, and the spec on it is incredible. Now first of all, it's a sport spec. Now what does that mean? Well, a couple of things. It means that you get things like the bigger alloy wheels and the little spoiler on the back, and it just gives the car a little bit more attitude, which is not a bad thing because Mercedes SLKs are not exactly the most macho cars in the world, but that and the black paint I think just gives it enough attitude. But actually the other big thing with this car is the specification. The specification on this is incredible, less so on the outside. What have we got on the outside? It's got power folding mirrors, it's got the xenon headlights, and they've got the little squirters that come up and wash the headlights, and metallic paint, of course, obsidian black I believe this is called. I think I've pronounced that right. I'm sure somebody will tell me if I haven't. But on the inside it gets mega. Come and have a look at this. Now that sport spec I think is most obvious on the interior, because you've got some great features like these red seat belts. I love these. If you're of a certain age like me, it does remind you a little bit of the MG Metro and MG Maestro of the 80s, but we'll ignore that and just think they're really cool. And also there's a lot of red stitching in here, in places like on here. You can just see it on the seats, you can see it on the gear selector down here and on the steering wheel, and because it's sport spec as well, it gets the black headlining, so it's really sporty in here. But I mentioned the specification. Let's have a look at what this car's got. So the first thing is it's got the power memory seats, so these all adjust electrically and you can set your position in there, and in fact the steering column is electric as well. And you'll see when I get in and close the door and put the ignition on, it merges down into place, which is rather cute. What else have we got in here? We have got auto dimming rear view mirror, and this auto dims as well, so if you have bright lights behind you at night they dim down photochromically. Put the ignition on. You've got the command system here with navigation and all that sort of kind of thing on it, and then below that it's actually got proper climate control. Now the standard these cars have air conditioning, but as an option you could have this, which is a digital climate control. You just dial in your temperature and it's split sides, so you can have different temperatures on either side, and it adjusts everything and gets that exactly how you want it. It's got the automatic transmission. This is the first one I've had with automatic, and I have to say I'm a big fan. It's a 7-speed on here. This is the power folding mirror button, so that brings the mirrors in like so, and out again. What else have we got? Nappa leather on the seats, that was an upgrade. I think it's cloth as standard, then there's a leather upholstery, and then the Nappa is the top one. Air scarf, this is brilliant. Now these are little vents, and when you're driving with the roof down you can switch these on and they waft warm air around your neck, and also these seats are heated, so at night or on a cold day you can drive with the top down and it's all cozy in here. What else is there? It's got the onboard computer, that's in here, pretty dated by modern standards probably, but nonetheless that's a trip computer. And then you've got your navigation also appears in here. It's just on compass at the minute because we've not got a destination in. That's the music, and then that's the miles. You can see this has got 98,000 miles on it now. I had 30,000 when I bought it. and you can scroll through to things like the engine temperature and the outside temperature, and that's telephone. So that's all in there. What else have we got? Oh, Harman Kardon Hi-Fi. That's something I'm really like. So down here, you can just see on the speakers, it's got Harman Kardon. Now there are, I think, 11 speakers in this car. So you've got the big speakers down here. You've got smaller speakers up here. There's a center speaker here. There are speakers in here. Speakers all over the place. It's a really good sound system. It's got cruise control. That's standard. It's got the paddle shift for the automatic transmission. I think that's part of the sport spec. And this is voice control. So if you pull that, you can voice activate things like the navigation of the telephone. So for example, find number.
Please say the name. Cancel.
I'll cancel that, but you get the idea. Yeah, so that is the interior. I should show you as well, I think, the boot and the under the bonnet, because that's always part of Alcoholic. We show you everywhere. So let's do that by turning the ignition off. Watch the steering wheel. That's just give you a little bit more room to get out. How nice is that? Let's pull the bonnet. Take a look underneath there. So it's called a 280, oddly, because it's actually got a 3-litre engine. And there it is. It's a V6 24 valve. It's 231 horsepower, I think, from memory, and that's giving 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds, and it's limited to 155 miles an hour. I think it would go a bit quicker otherwise. So pretty full engine bay. They did actually do this one with a V8 as well, and how they fit that in there, God knows, but it's pretty full of that engine, that's for sure. It does go very nicely, and it sounds brilliant. And then let's have a look in the boot. Let's drop that back down. There we go. For a small car and a convertible, this is not too bad. Now, this fella here is a divider that gives you space so that when the roof folds, it can fit into the top. But if you're just driving to the airport and you want masses of luggage space, well, then you can fold that fellow away, and then you've got room for 2 pretty decent sized suitcases in here. So for the size and type of car, I think that's pretty good. Anyway, we'll put that back down. And I'll give you a demonstration of the roof, because that is pretty cool, I think. Okay. So we'll hop back in. Put the ignition back on. Drop the window, and I should extend the GoPro holder so you can see this in action. Okay. Here we go. That button there. That, I think you'll agree, is pretty cool. Anyway, if we're going to be a proper YouTube car channel, I suppose we ought to take it for a drive. So let's do that next. Okay, here we go. This is the world's first Motorholic road test. It's exciting, this, isn't it? You notice I've taken my jacket off, and that's because it's actually pretty warm in here, even with the top down on a January day like today, because with the heated seats and the air scarf, it's all pretty cosy. I love that. Now, one of the things I particularly like about this car is the noise it makes. I don't know how else will pick it up, but this is a 3-litre V6, as I mentioned earlier, and it does sound rather lovely, very smooth. Put my red seatbelt on. Let's give this a go. Okay. Now, the auto box has 2 modes, plus a manual mode, so it's got sport and it's got, what's the other one? Sport and comfort. But I always have it in sport because it just seems to react a little bit better and a bit more positively. But even in sport mode, it's a very smooth gearbox. Right, let's see if you can hear that engine noise. That clunk you might have heard is the doors auto-locking, which is a rather nice feature. As soon as you pick up more than 5 miles an hour, it locks you in. But actually, if you were ever to have an accident, serious accident, it would automatically unlock the doors. Clever chaps, these Germans. So where we are now, of course, is fairly speed restricted. and but it's nice to have a potter around here. It's a beautiful area. I'm in Torquay at the moment, but what I'm going to do is have a motor around here, and then we'll take it out onto the open road and give it a bit more performance. But this is a good way to start, I think. I've just put my air scarf on, do warm air around the neck. Okay, here we go. One thing I was slightly nervous about when I bought this car was the ride, because it is quite a sporty car and it is the sport spec with the lower profile tyres and the bigger wheels, and I thought it could be a bit harsh. But actually, although you're very aware of the road surface, it's pretty good. And even on a long journey you don't feel annoyed by it, which you can do in other cars. I had a Mini Cooper S once years ago that was that I specified sport suspension, and it was the biggest mistake I made with that car. It was horrific. But with this one I didn't have much choice, of course, because it was second hand. But yeah, it's a good ride. It's a bumpy road this, but it's handling it very nicely. Now this to me is what open top motoring is all about. Blue skies, lovely day, and it just feels a completely different experience. I've always wanted an open top car, and I got my first one in 2004. It was an Audi A4 Cabriolet, and I really love that car. I've had convertibles ever since. I've had 2 Audi convertibles, I've had 2 Mazda MX-5 convertibles, so they're all convertibles, of course, and I've had 2 SLKs. This is the second one, and I really can't imagine not having a convertible. Every time I get a day like this, the roof comes down, and it's just brilliant. Okay, so we're just going to get on to a main dual carriageway. So I'm going to move this car into coupe mode. So press that little button there. I think it's about 25 seconds it takes for the boot to open backwards, which is rather clever. And then that will rise up over my head. That's fantastic. And we're good to go. So now we are completely in coupe mode. Proper solid roof above us, and that's what I really like about this car. It's this duality of purpose, the fact it can be what you want it to be when you want it to be. So now it's quiet, refined, very comfortable, and a great car for doing distances in. So we're going to drop onto this dual carriageway, give it a little bit of welly. Okay, here we go. So that is 20 miles an hour. Let's go. 50, 60, 70, and that's the limit, of course, so we won't go any faster than that. But yeah, it's got some pep. I mean, a really modern, fast hatchback like a coal-fire would leave it for dead, but it's got certainly enough performance for me. And what I like now is I can just relax and cover long distances, and it's a really great cruising car. So it really covers all the bases for me. I like it very much. I'm very pleased with it, and that's why I've had it so long. Okay, so I'm going to drop around this roundabout, and we'll give another quick burn back up the other way, and I think that will about do us. Okay, here we go. Nice. So that, dear viewer, is about it. My very first Motorholic video. Do let me know what you think in the comments. If you've got any suggestions or thoughts, then I'd love to hear them, and hopefully we'll do a few more of these. It's very busy with Aquaholic, of course, but I'm sure we can fit some of these in from time to time. So yeah, let me know what you'd like to see. And if you want to do me a real favour, I would love it if you'd hit subscribe, because this channel is very much in its infancy and it's a great way to help it grow. So thank you very much for watching, and we will hopefully catch you on another one soon. Take care. Bye bye.